Guys, welcome to this video. I am here today to tell you a little bit about Flipgrid and the different things that you can do with it, kind of how to get set up with the website or the app, and where you can go with that. So first of all, before I get into actually getting on the website and setting different aspects of it up, let me just kind of tell you a little bit about Flipgrid and kind of my experiences. So originally, I wasn't very interested in this app/website. It seemed a little too gimmicky almost, and I hate to say that, but that is kind of how I felt. I was afraid it was going to be just sort of all about kind of being cool, and I didn't quite grasp the value of it right away. And then once I used it and actually kind of saw it in action, I was a lot more impressed with it and have really been excited about using it ever since then. So basically what Flipgrid is, it is a social EDU app. So, and it operates through a website, so you can get to it from really any device. There is an app for it if you are using a phone or a tablet, but you can also just get to it through your web browser. And it is a way for students to create a video based on some sort of prompt or instruction or topic that you give them. And there's just a ton of different options in terms of what they're actually doing with this video. It can be a video where it's like literally them talking to a screen and explaining something or reading something or giving a speech or, giving their interpretation of something. Or there's also a lot of features where they could even use like a whiteboard on their screen and maybe draw something out or explain something in words or pictures or things like that. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. The neat thing also with Flipgrid is that you can use it to connect with other students outside of your school as well. So I've actually used this in that capacity a few different times. And I love it because it allows students, especially if you're in a district or in a building where you feel like the students just aren't really getting outside of their community a whole lot and they need to experience more. And so I've used this in a way where actually I've been with art students who we connected with this school in Africa. And so they shared videos back and forth. I've also used it with my robotics team. Our kids, we connected with another team in the same state, just a team that was about an hour away, and communicated back and forth different things we were working on or successes or failures or kind of problem solving techniques and things like that. Anyway, it's a really great tool to allow students to have a voice and kind of connect. So we're going to dive in to the website. And I'm going to primarily be showing you everything through the website. I do actually have the app open on my iPad over here. But the app looks very similar to the website. So we're just going to kind of go with this. So first thing you're going to do when you get here is if you've never used this before, obviously you need to create a account. And so we'll just do educator sign up. I'm going to click login since I already have an account. And it will prompt you for a few things. Honestly, I always advise if you are a Google school, use that Google login. It's going to make things a lot more seamless and easy for you. So if not, there is the whole if you're a Microsoft school, obviously you can use that too. If you don't have either of those, kind of, you'll just have to set it up kind of as your district or as your school kind of allows you to do. But I'm going to get myself signed in here. And the first time you ever get to Flipgrid, the first thing it's going to do is prompt you to add a new grid. In fact, I believe a new window should even open up and it will kind of get you started with a grid. And that's kind of really where you want to start. So you first need to, I guess, think about what do you want your students to do? Like, what is the topic or the prompt you want to give them? And so I'm just going to click on Add New Grid. And you want to think of this almost kind of like the way you think of Google Classroom or something, where you're probably going to create a grid for maybe a class or a specific subject area. And then you will put in different topics in that grid, almost like the topic is the assignment and the grid is the group it's a part of. So I'm just going to make one just to kind of have a test thing here. We'll just call it test grid 1. And then I always prefer to have the students sign up with their school email. In my situation, that really works the best. If you are not in a school where you have Google or Microsoft, you'll probably need to do one of these other things. Again, it just sort of depends on how you're set up. This is what we always do. You can give it a different flip code. This basically is what the students are going to type in order to connect to your grid. You can also have them connect through a QR code, but I'm just going to keep that there. If you want to give it something specific to you, you can. And then the next thing it's going to ask is for your school email extension. So at our district, we're atown276.net. And so that is what I would have typed, which I've already typed that in there. So you're going to type that in, and what that does is it means that only people with that email can be a part of your grid, which is nice. It's kind of a way to ensure privacy with Flipgrid. So then any random person with a Gmail account or anything else cannot get on that Flipgrid to see any of the videos or post anything. So it's just kind of a safety thing. So you'd want to make sure you've got that in there. Now, if you are not doing this school email concept, it will not ask you that. That's only because I have it set up that way. So atown276.net is what I need. I'm going to click next. And then it's got this grid, and there are a few options for getting a code for it, or I can connect it right to Google Classroom. If that's something you use, I can also put it on Remind. I actually don't use any of these things ever. I mostly just copy this code, or I give the students the code that they need later. So I'm going to go ahead and click Go to my grid. And so this is kind of how it's set up. So first it gives you sort of a generic topic, and this is completely editable. You can actually just delete the whole thing if you want. But this is kind of what your students are going to see when they go to the grid. Actually, if you click over here where it says flip code, and then it shows you that flip code, if you want to see what the students will see, you can click on that, and I will go to that here in a minute. The other thing you can do here is you can add a co-pilot. So if you are in a class where you maybe have a co-teacher, or if you are using this as a collaborative project with a class or a school outside of your building, you would want to add a co-pilot. That's just adding another teacher. It's like Google Classroom, when you add another teacher, that's kind of the same thing. You're adding this co-pilot. That means they can also make changes and add things to your grid. So that's what you would be doing. The other couple things you can do here are there are a few actions you can take. If I don't want this to be here anymore, if I want to delete it, I can delete it. I can edit certain things about it, like this picture. One thing that's kind of nice too, like if you are a middle school or high school teacher and you're getting this set up, and you set one up for maybe your first hour class, and you're like, oh, I want the same thing for my second hour, you can just duplicate it. There are some information on notifications, data, things like that. I'm not going to really go through all of that right now. But the main thing here to really get yourself started is to work on these topics. So the topic is the assignment. So kind of think about it in terms of that way. The kids are going to log in and go to this grid, and then they're going to see topics. Now, obviously, when the first time they go there, you're probably only going to have one topic. And this topic right now that it gives you, that's just sort of this default topic that it gives you, is just kind of a little intro. So I'm going to click on the pencil down here because I want to edit this. Okay, so when I click on that, it's going to open up this edit. And I can do a handful of things here. If I want to change the title and give a different title, you can limit the recording time. So right now it is set so students can make a video that is 1:30. But say we're practicing on skills with being concise, and I want it to be short. I'm going to give them 30 seconds. I mean, heck, I can even make it 15 seconds if I want them to be able to talk and give some information in that amount of time. But you can change the time. I think the max time is 5 minutes in order to kind of provide that sort of parameter. This here in the prompt is where you're going to put what you want them to say. So this is the assignment. So this is kind of the one it comes with. It just says, welcome to Flipgrid. Tap the green plus button to open the Flipgrid camera, then record a short video. All they're asking here is they want you to say hello, share a fun fact about yourself. This is a nice one, especially if you've never done this before or your students have never done this before. Maybe kind of introduce this to them by saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. We just want to see what it looks like. Okay, so have them do this one to kind of start. It also gives you this option to add a focus. That just means it's a little graphic that's going to show up with the prompt here. You can change that if you want. There's lots of fun. I really like putting in different GIF files. Because I think that's kind of more fun and interactive, but you can add something there. If I click delete, it will show me my options are, but I'm not going to go through that. You can do a couple other things here too. I can give it a tip. Like if I feel like the students may not really get what I'm wanting them to do, I can give them a tip. I can also add these attachments. So if I want them to have a link to something, maybe I want them to respond to a specific website or to a specific video or something, I can give them a link here and give it a title so that when they go to that prompt, there's also that attachment there for them to click on to also kind of be part of what they're saying. The next section here is your topic status. Now I also one of the things here is it allows for video moderation, which can be kind of an overwhelming thing to do. But if you have never used this before, if your students have never used this before, I actually recommend starting maybe your first one or two of these and keeping them moderated. So if you click on this little button here and it's green, now it means they're moderated. So what that essentially is that when the student records their video, at the end, when it's all uploaded, it will just let them know, well, this is moderated. So they can't see it. It's not active in the grid, or none of the other students can see it yet until you log in and approve it. This, to me, has been one of the biggest sort of tools in teaching digital citizenship along with Flipgrid, because I will say it is such a fun social thing for kids to do when they get on here and start recording these videos that they forget that this is an educational tool and not something like Snapchat or TikTok where they're just making something silly and just make random weird stuff. So when you have this video moderation, it kind of reminds the student that there is accountability involved here. Maybe once they've gotten more used to it, you can take that off. But I have found that's a handy thing to keep on in the beginning. The other thing is you can allow student-to-student replies. So then when a student watches a video, they can reply to one. This also kind of activates it. This gives it some dates in terms of when it's available. Then you also can kind of control some different video features here. So if I want to allow them to have some of the editing tools or different kind of fun aspects of it, I can allow or not allow those things here. They all kind of explain what they are, so I'm not going to go through each of those things individually. And then the last thing in here is feedback. And this is one part of this that I think is really great, especially if you're going to use Flipgrid as a real part of your classroom where you want to, whether you're integrating a grade or a rubric or something, because it gives really good feedback. So it's set up where currently the basic feedback is they're going to have kind of, it'll look like a rubric when they record their video to say something about their ideas or their performance. If you want to customize that and put in different type of criteria, you can click custom feedback and then you can add some different things. Since I've used this for robotics, the one custom feedback I've used is this robotastic or not? It's up to you how you do that, but that's there. Once you've made all the changes you want to make, we're going to click Update Topic. And so now you can kind of see what that looks like. Now currently, so this is the teacher view of my topic, and currently it is showing me, this is kind of what the students will see, and it says there's 0 responses. No one has gotten on here and responded yet. If I want to make a response, which sometimes is a good way to kick it off, especially if we've never done this before, I can record a response, and then maybe that'll give a good example of what I'm looking for from the students. The other thing is I can click the share topic, and that brings up that same window if I'm ready to put it on Classroom Now, or if I want this link to throw somewhere else, or even if I want the QR code to give them to scan, I can do that. But the other thing here too is you can also just give the kids this code. This flip code is all they really need to get on here. And if you click on the flip code, so right now I can view it as a student. I'm going to click on that. It's going to open a new tab. It does every time you do this. It's going to verify you are you. And then it's going to take me to the grid. So this is the student view of my grid now. And I can kind of scroll through this and see, or I'm sorry, this is showing that specific topic that we have also. So it gives the directions, it shows my little GIF file. And then I scroll down here, and as students record videos, things will start to pop up here. Right now, obviously there is nothing. So what students would do is they'd come over and they'd click on this plus sign. And then it's going to open a video. Obviously, it's going to want permission. And it's going to open up a window to record a video. And there are a lot of tools in here, too, that they can use. So there are some different filters if they want to make it look different. Sometimes, especially if a kid is shy, maybe they want to do this one. You can add text if I want to add a title somewhere. I can add these little stickers if I want to have those kind of things. I can use a pen if I want to be drawing. I can get a whiteboard if I would rather have, like if I am having the students use this to maybe work out a math problem. I can use this whiteboard and they can use the drawing to record a video of them actually working out a problem. Or they can also add a sticker here. So the students are going to record something. In fact, I'll just record something here just to do this. So they're going to record, and maybe I'll get this pen and I'll say, I think I unclicked it. We're going to say 4 plus 4 equals 8. Okay, then I'm going to click next. So they're going to record, and maybe I'll get this pen and I'll say, I think I unclicked it. We're going to say 4 plus 4 equals 8. Okay. So all right, we're not going to watch it again. So you can do that. And then when they're satisfied with their video, you can click next, or they would click next. Then you have to take a selfie. And then we're going to click next again. And then it's going to say it's preparing my video. They can add some other information if they want, and then submit their video. Now, it's going to immediately say this topic is moderated. Your video will be visible when it's approved. So because I clicked that moderated, it's not going to show up till it's done. I'm just going to click complete. So it still doesn't show anything here. However, I'm going to quickly show you a grid that is has things on it. So I'm going to click My Grids, and you can kind of see there's a variety of things going on here. So we'll click on this art collaboration. Like I said, this is a grid. This is actually a really neat project. The kids in our grade school, they make videos, and then kids of the school, this international school in Africa, watch them and respond, and kind of this conversation happens. So currently, I'll click on this here. This 4th grade art class. It shows that there's a handful of students who have created videos. I can watch them from here. So if I click on one of these, I can watch it from here. I can also leave comments on their video. I can fill out that rubric if I want. If there's a kid who recorded something that, a couple times I have kids record something, they're like, oh man, I messed up, can I redo it? I can delete it so they can redo it here. But then when you want to see what theirs looks like, so if I click again on this flip code to see view as a student, it's going to verify it's me again. Then I can see, so this is what the kids see when they go to this, and they can see all of each other's videos right here, which is a really, really neat thing. Right now, actually, we just did this the other day, so we haven't actually connected this with the school in Africa yet. or that they have not seen it. So these are just some of our students' videos. But anyway, it's an awesome tool for sharing things like that. There really are just so many different things you can do with it. This honestly is just scratching the surface. So give it a try, play around with it, really practice problem solving skills with this yourself. I know sometimes these kind of tools can get a little tricky, but give it a try. There's tons more videos about Flipgrid online. So if you're curious, you don't understand something, look it up, because I'm sure someone else has experienced this too. But it's really just a very, very nice tool to try, and to get your students talking, to really engage them in conversation, and hear their voices. So enjoy, and I really hope you give it a shot, and just good luck with it all.